Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another Behind the Groove podcast. I am DJ Keo.
And I am Basil Barrington, and we are back with another film review. Today, we are going to take a look at Sinners. Oh my goodness. IMDb is giving this joint, let me see here, a 7.4. I think that's super low.
Mm.
This is obviously this was released in the theaters. It is now available to purchase, just like the kibosh says, right? It's available. It's now available to purchase. So you can go. I purchased it on Amazon T. I'm sorry, Apple TV. How'd you purchase it?
I was the Apple TV.
Okay, yeah. So I'll tell you this much though. When I purchased it and I was off of Apple TV, dude, man, I would. It took me 3 hours to watch this movie just from the buffering. It just
I
kept
don't
buffering
understand
and
that. That makes no
buffering and
sense to me.
buffering.
My thing was smooth.
Well, come to find out, there was a huge Verizon problem in the area over the weekend
Oh, okay. All right. That makes sense.
because I had to
That makes sense.
totally reset the Wi-Fi. I had to reset the
Mm.
modem, the router, all my pods, everything, right? So,
Oh,
but I,
okay.
I was finally able to get through it. And man, I
Mm.
had like, listen, all I knew about this film was that it was really good. That's what people were saying. I had no idea if it was like a cowboy film, a
Yeah,
slave
yeah.
film, a vampire film. I'm like, I did not know this was a
I
vampire
can't.
joint.
Here's the thing, man. I can't watch slave movies. I don't know who's enjoying them or
No.
who's like, hey, oh, new slave
Like,
movies out
great
there. I
slave
can't.
movie, dude. You got to watch
Great
it
movies
three
now. Like,
times.
I can't. I don't know who that is. Who that buying power
You
is.
said,
I can't.
you said, who's enjoying slave movies? However, Emancipation on Amazon, I'm sorry, why am I
Mm.
mixing up Amazon and Apple? Emancipation on Apple TV, it's not a slave movie, and it's
Okay.
good. And it's
Okay.
good.
I may check that
With
out.
Will
I like
Smith.
historical stuff,
Yeah.
but I mean, like, people picking cotton and
Nah.
they're like, "Whoa, mess up! We can't
Yeah,
do. I can't watch that.
yeah,
I can't do
and
that."
then I'm waiting. And so okay, so I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna put it out there.
Mhm. Mhm.
you know so one of the other things about like when you're watching slave movies are the slave hymns, right?
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
just like, oh my goodness, not the slave hymn. It's just like,
Bro,
I'm just like, listen,
I
I
can't
know
do
these
it,
are
man.
songs that our ancestors created, they brought to us, and we took it and we made
Yeah.
it into what music is today, but I
I just
can't
can't
take the
do it,
slave
man. When they like,
hymns, I can't
"Oh,
take
mess
the
up!" Like
cotton
I can
picking, man.
nah.
So here we are with Sinners. It starts
Yeah,
out
yeah.
really well. First 10 was awesome, right? First 10?
Mhm. Yeah,
For
yeah, it sets the tone. It's like a
yeah,
really there's an interesting thing going on here. You don't know what it is yet, but it's like I'm gonna follow what's going on here with these guys.
yeah. I did.
Definitely.
I mean, first 10, I still didn't know what it was.
Oh no, I knew it before the movie started. I knew it. I knew before.
I
I've heard. I watched the trailers. I
mhm.
seen a bunch of stuff. I saw people talking about it, and yeah, it was a big deal. I was gonna watch it in theater, and I couldn't get any time to go watch it. So
So
I was like, all right, fine.
when you told me about this, I was like, oh, you know what? I'm just gonna watch it raw. I'm not gonna watch a trailer. I'm not gonna watch
I'm
anything.
sorry, man. I apologize to
No,
you.
no, no.
I
Listen.
apologize.
The first 10, no, no, no. Listen, like, dude, this
Mhm.
for me, this movie was fire. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
But it
So
was a surprise though. You didn't know it was a horror movie. Or I
well,
should say horror movie. It's
well,
more of a suspense
okay,
thriller
so
kind
that's
of
what I was
thing.
gonna say. Is it really a horror movie though?
No, there's gore in there and stuff happens, but and there's frightful things happening, but like the actual movie isn't scary.
Right.
Like I've seen horror movies before and I gotta stay up at night. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how I'm gonna ever sleep again. Like I've seen
That's
that.
the reason why I don't
This
do
was
horror
not that
flicks,
at
yo.
all.
Because I don't want to I don't want that stuff on my dome when I'm sleeping. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
So,
can't. I'm like, look at the ceiling, like, oh man, it's
right.
gonna be a rough night, yo.
So the first 10
I'm gonna be
minutes,
tired.
I'm like, I didn't know what it was. I had an
Mhm,
idea of who these two
mhm.
guys were, Smoke and Stack. I
Yeah.
was like, okay, these cats, they run. You know what I'm saying? They grind.
Mhm.
These are grinders. They grind, and once I saw they had hammer, when they had hammers, I was like, okay, these guys grind.
Like,
I was
all
like,
right,
they
these guys
grind,
be
right?
doing a thing.
Right?
Yeah, yeah, they grimy. But you know what's funny? This movie was supposed to be like, who's the guy that was in Creed with
Oh,
the Anthony B. Jordan?
Carl, what's his name? Carl,
No, no, not Carl. from the Creed movie. Oh, dude, I forgot his name.
Michael
That
B.
he got blacklisted. He's in the Creed
Oh,
3.
oh, you're talking about
Yeah, I know.
Jonathan.
Jonathan Majors.
Yeah.
Jonathan Majors.
Uh-huh.
This was supposed to be his movie with him. They were going to do this movie together. Yeah. Which I think would have been better if it was him in this together.
But check it out.
Like it was dope. It was dope though, but I think it would have been better if Jonathan Majors was in this.
Okay, so check this out. That's
Mm.
very interesting. So if he was supposed to play in this, if he
Mm.
was the original member who was cast to play, I guess maybe Stack,
Well, I
right?
don't know if they cast it or whatever,
Okay,
but they were planning to do this together. I know
right.
that.
So I would like to know if they would like if Michael B. Jordan would have been Smoke and then he would have been Stack,
Yeah, that's what I
because
think the plan was.
okay, so that's even more interesting because once that didn't
Mhm.
happen, they had to think really fast to say, hey, you know what? Why not just make Michael B. Jordan a twin?
Yeah,
And
which was good though. I'm not saying anything. I don't
dude,
take anything away from it.
that was
He did a really
awesome.
good job, and I like that you could tell the two of them apart. Because sometimes they make these, playing the same character, they look the same, they sound the same, they do everything the same.
Mhm,
Like they were different. They had different styles. Like even there's a scene where they're at the door, and I forgot it was a smoke or stuff. I can't remember which one it was, but like they were, you're talking about like, hey, let's let them in. And he's like, oh no, let's not do that.
mhm.
Let's get too hasty here. And then we were beefing about money. Like I like that they had independent thought about how they're doing that stuff and what their plans were for the business and all that stuff like that. I like that. Like it was a clear separation between the two of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it made it interesting.
So
And they look different.
yeah, and they dress the same, but they may have one may have had on a
It's a little
tie, another
different.
one had a
He had a
bow
different
tie on.
hat.
You know
He
what
had
I'm
a little,
saying? Different hats. You know what I'm
he had
saying?
like a bray hat. He had the old timey bray hat or whatever. Like it's different.
So when the film started going forward, and it was just like I said, okay, so they're gonna open up a juke joint,
Hmm.
and
Yeah, joint with the catfish.
yeah,
Get some catfish.
you know,
Which
they
I like, or I can't front it. Catfish
yeah,
is fire.
give me some good catfish. I don't like the soggy stuff though,
No. It's gotta be
you know,
crispy though. But like
for real.
it's that's solid,
So I
yeah.
was like, okay, Duke joint. So what's gonna happen? They're gonna have a battle with the KKK. That's how it looked like it was
Hmm.
gonna turn out, right?
Yes.
Then all of a sudden, I'm watching the film. I'm about to get
Mhm.
chills right now about just talking about it. And then all of a sudden, this mofo comes up flying up out of the air. And I'm like,
Woo!
and so when he did that, I was like, and the girl
Mhm.
kept walking, and I was like, did not know that he bit her and then like made her into something, made her,
Mhm.
vampirized her. And then,
Yeah.
yeah. When that happened, dude, I was like, the
Yeah.
chills
You
came
know,
up.
because you didn't know it was coming, it makes it more effective.
Right.
You didn't know anything about it, yeah.
And old boy said, the vampire, he said, you know what? That's okay. You don't have to let us come in because we're going to come back tonight and we're going to kill all of you. And I was like, guns, no. Broccoli or garlic, you know.
Yeah, broccoli, garlic, whatever.
Broccoli may have been a better like solution, not garlic. You know what I'm saying? But all in all, man, when I'm watching the film and
Mhm.
I kept thinking this, and the reason why I kept thinking this is because um I'm rewatching the She's Gotta Have It series on Netflix. And
Mhm.
that was like that's a Spike Lee joint. And as I'm watching this flick, I immediately thought that this was a Spike Lee joint for real.
Mhm.
Just how
Yeah.
it was written, how like when they played music, they showed the album cover work. When they were
Mhm.
talking about everything,
Yeah, the
they
cultures.
yeah,
They're talking about the ancient
yeah,
ancestors and
they
stuff like
all
that,
hooked it
dancing
up.
with the
It
yeah.
felt like a
Yeah.
Spike Lee joint. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, wow,
And
okay.
I like the music too. I thought the music was good. 'Cause, like, you put a banjo together and, like, start doing Negro spirituals. I'm like, "I'm out." I'm like, "Oh, I'm done here, man.
Yeah, I'm
I
done
can't
with the
do that.
slave.
I
I'm done with
can't."
the slave
Right?
hands,
I
dude. I'm
can't do
done.
it.
You know.
But the music was good, like, the blues and stuff was good. Like, it was soulful. I like that the girl that was singing, the other thing that I like was that anybody could get it. in the movie. Like it wasn't like, oh, these people are safe, they're gonna be fine, they're gonna make it through the night. Oh no, oh no, everybody has a rough night. All right, everybody's gonna have a terrible night.
The
Honestly.
the Asian girl. That's the other thing, right?
Woo,
So I'm like, okay, this is
woo.
like 1932. They're basically saying 1932.
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm going to assume in 1932 there were Japanese here in America, obviously, right?
Mhm.
So I'm like, wait a minute, 1932 Japanese or Asian in
They were,
Mississippi?
I think they're Taiwanese or Chinese or
Okay,
whatever.
but they're Asian and it's 1932 and they're in Mississippi. She even had a southern twang. You heard that southernness in her
Yeah,
voice?
she's there for a while. She was there for a
I'm
while.
like, yo,
Well,
listen,
like
this
they
is
they
cool.
were building the railroad, whatever, back in the day,
Yeah.
and doing mining stuff. Like they were there for sure. They were there.
So you had her and then you had the white chick.
Mhm,
And but she was really black, but she passed as white.
mhm.
And like you said, everyone got it, dude. It didn't matter if you were black, white, Chinese,
It was a
Japanese,
rough day at the office, man.
Nigerian,
It
Dominican,
was.
Puerto Rican, you got it,
Yeah, man. Everyone's catching L's in
and
this
the
movie.
vampires were not only white,
Mhm.
they were everyone. And I was just like, but
When they started singing that song, that poor boy, whatever song, and
mhm.
he came back out the woods, I was like, "Oh boy, it's gonna be a long day, man." Yo, that was rough.
and,
That
and
was
you
very rough.
and
It was chilling, man.
yeah, and you always say, and I always bring this up, walking and talking.
Mhm,
No walking,
mhm.
none. There was no walking and talking in this
They were
film.
they were cooking. They were story building and cooking the whole movie. And once the movies, I think halfway through the movie started switches and turns into a horror movie
Yeah.
or a suspenseful thriller.
Right.
But like it splits like halfway through, it just goes.
Mm.
And I really, really liked the ending before because I was about to shut it off, like, all right, it's done, whatever. And then they walked into the bar and I was like, oh, what's this? This is interesting.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, right. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. At the end of the movie, they
Okay. They were
walked him and the girl. They walked in the bar
okay.
to see the preacher boy.
Wait a
As a
minute.
Sammy.
Him and a girl. Which? Okay. Wait. Which girl? The white girl?
Him and the girl. Yeah, him and the yeah,
Uh,
both of them. They came in the bar at the end of the movie. It's after after the liner notes or whatever
right. But they came in a bar.
title.
They came in a bar that old boy was playing in. That a preacher boy was
Yeah,
playing
it
in.
said, yeah, preacher boy was playing in at the
They
end of the movie. Did you see that?
no no no. Listen. No.
Okay,
I did.
okay,
Listen, I saw like the preacher. Yes, I did see that. I saw the preacher
oh,
boy
okay,
as an
okay,
older
yeah.
person playing. He named he
Mhm.
named the restaurant after the girl he had relations with. Or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Pearline.
So
He
he's
named it
playing.
Pearline.
He's famous, and he was playing a set,
Right.
and he said there's like two more people wanting to come see him after, and
Right.
they had to let them in.
Mhm.
And he's like,
Okay.
"Yeah, okay, come on in." And they walked in. I was like, "Oh boy, here we go."
Right.
But I
But
thought that was cool. I thought that cool that they survived. I thought that was interesting.
okay.
It's not great that they survived.
Mhm.
It's interesting that they survived.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Because she was kind of she was a
I thought they
vampire.
died, man,
She was a
but we never
vampire.
saw it. Yeah, yeah, but we never saw them die. I thought they died during the carnage that was going on inside the building. I thought they died, but they ran away. They were like, "Oh no, it's good." Oh, well, when the two brothers were fighting, he didn't kill him, and I think he just like, you know what, I can't do this, bro. You're my bro, so you leave these guys alone. Said you leave this dude alone. You don't bother him, and you know what, we're just call it even. You just do your thing. I'll just get old or die or whatever, and then
Yeah.
I think that's what he did.
Yeah. What do you think about Michael B. Jordan's performance? Both of them.
Here's the thing, all right. I was not a fan of him back in the day.
Mhm.
I think the first thing I saw of him that I was like, "Oh, okay, it's not bad." Was like Chronicle. I think that was the first thing. Excuse me, and that was good. And so I was like, "All right, this guy's he's taking this." Because I remember him from The Wire as a kid. I thought, "Oh, this dude's
Yeah.
awful. Like he's never gonna make it." And then, 'cause he's a kid though, so I can't be mad at him. But
Mhm.
yeah, when I saw him, the movie's Chronicle. That I saw that, and I was like, "Okay, there's something here." and then he did the Creed movies. He did a bunch of stuff, and I was like, "Yo, I like Michael, man. I like him. I support this guy. I've been to the theater a bunch of times to go watch his movies opening day because I'm supporting him. I like what he's doing, man. He's a very good actor now.
He's listen.
He stepped his chops up. Creed for me solidified it when the first Creed, because I was like, oh, but why are they making this movie over? We don't need more Rocky stuff, whatever. And I saw the Creed movie. I was like, oh, this is good. This is very good. He's committed to this role. So after that, I'm like, yo, man, Michael, I'm cool with Michael. I like his stuff.
You
And he
know,
did a great job in this movie, especially with the two roles,
oh,
which is hard as hell.
oh my goodness. I saw some behind the scenes how they shot him, how they shot the
Mhm.
twins. And
Yeah.
they had like a camera harness. They had a harness, a shoulder harness on his shoulders, right?
Mhm.
And then they had
Yeah.
cameras all the way around this harness.
Mhm.
And it was like crazy. And I was like, yo, okay. The other thing is this, right?
Mhm.
Michael B. You know how we talk about like black excellence when it comes to like, just these new up and coming, like the next generation of like black artists when it comes
Dude,
to
I'm
film.
rooting for Michael B. Jordan to win, man.
Michael
I
B.
hope he gets a
Jordan,
big movie.
Denzel's son,
Mhm.
and
Yeah, yeah.
here's the thing, right? Say what you want to about Jonathan Majors, right?
I like him too. I want these guys to win.
He's actually really good at his art. Full
Mhm.
stop.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what we know him for, his art. He's really good at
Mhm.
that. So I think that there are all of these like Zendaya and old boy from New Orleans. What's old boy's name? He played in Alter Carbon season 2.
Oh,
Um
okay, yeah, yeah.
uh,
He's in the Marvel movies.
yeah, yeah, Captain whatever. Exactly. He's in that joint.
Captain whatever.
Right, exactly. He's good, I can't even remember his name. That's how much I like him.
Bro, I do like him, all right? I'll
Yeah.
be honest with you. I do not like him. As an actor, I think he's terrible, but he's in some good stuff, so I let it be.
Okay, so you had the other thing is this, right?
Mhm.
You had Saul Williams was in this joint too. Now, I don't know if you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah,
know
yeah, I
him?
know who he is.
Yeah, okay.
He's a
So
musician. Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, oh, he's back in America? Cause he moved to France, dude.
Yeah,
Like a
yeah,
decade,
it's
2 decades
fascinating.
ago.
I'm glad he's in this movie.
He
I like
moved,
Saul. Saul's
yeah.
good. He's a good artist.
Yeah, he's a very good artist. I mean, an artist all around. You know what I'm
Yeah, yeah.
saying? Not just an actor,
When you
right?
say artist, he's artist.
Right.
Like that's you gotta see about Saul. He's an
Right.
artist.
Right, exactly. I thought that the characters in this film, excuse me, all of them,
Mhm.
every
It
single
was
one of them,
great.
awesome.
It was intriguing. Like you were, if even if it wasn't like horror thriller movie, whatever, and just telling these guys stories, I would have watched that. That's
Yeah,
how good the characters are. Like I wanted to know, what happened in Chicago. What's who you guys running from? Who'd you steal from? Is it Al Capone? Like what's going on here? Like what happened in Chicago? That you're like, I gotta get out of town. Like that to me, that was dope. I like that's part of the story. The preacher's son, I liked him. He was good too. Delroy Lindo, he was good.
he's
He was
good.
great,
He's
man.
just good. Period. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't mind him. I think he's a good actor. I've seen a bunch of stuff, but
Yeah,
like it was good. The storyline was good. All the people acting in it was good. Like yes, I'm saying like that's why people can watch this movie even though it's a semi horror movie and they got a good thing out of it. And what other thing I liked about it, and it's not indictment on this kind of stuff, but like the movie wasn't about racism. It was more so this is a movie. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
it wasn't the linchpin of racism.
yeah.
People were like they didn't make the whole movie about racism.
Right.
This is just a movie that happened. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't people being racist, whatever, just to be racist. Like, oh, because this is the old time, you could say in the word, whatever. It was just a movie,
Yeah,
and it's about this time frame. This is what they would have to go through in this time frame,
yeah,
and we're just telling the story. That I love that.
yeah.
I can't stand these movies that they gotta be high and pious about what happened in the past or whatever. Like, dude, that's so boring to me. That's why
We
I can't
we
watch slave
we
movies. Like
know
that.
that.
That's
It's
so
like, yeah,
ridiculous. You right?
we know that now. You know what I'm saying? That's a very good
Yeah, yeah,
point.
yeah.
That's a very good point because, like I said, when I was my premise was that
Mhm.
Once they said, hey, they wanted to open up a juke joint out like in the middle of the
Mhm.
sticks in Mississippi, I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, we're like, "Oh, this is gonna be about
I'm
this is
like,
not
this
what
is
this is
like a
about."
battle between, the stack, these the smokestack twins in a, KKK. And I was like,
Yeah,
I don't know if I want to watch this, but it is good, right? But I
yeah,
kept
yeah,
watching
yeah.
it, and then there was a totally different twist. This was a very diverse movie. You had, like
Mhm,
I said, the people who were chilling. They were
mhm.
black, they were Asian, they were white,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, okay, no, this has nothing to do with the KKK or racism. Sure, we
This is what
saw
real life is, man.
right. And
That's
the
what I'm
other thing was
saying.
this, like these were not slaves who were working in the
Mhm.
fields. They were like,
Yeah,
what do
yeah,
they
it's
call them?
just
Indentured
their
servants.
plantation.
Yeah,
They work there.
they worked there, they lived there, so it's just something like
Mhm,
that. So oh, and you know what else was really interesting? Then we're gonna wrap this up. When
mhm.
when the twins came into town, you had this whole bustling joint, like just
Yeah.
different retails that blacks can go to. When they walked into the
Mhm,
Asian store, do you have fresh fruits and vegetables? I was like, wow.
mhm.
But here's the thing: across the street, that was the area where the
Yeah, a
whites
whole
shop.
other good time.
You know, and I was like, and everyone they was just sitting there, and I was like, okay, you see what I'm saying? It doesn't always have to be about racism, right, or
Mhm.
slavery, or giving us the
I agree.
history of slavery. I
Bro,
do
I agree.
understand that you know, generations need to be taught this stuff, right? Just like, hey,
Absolutely,
this is
absolutely.
the sort of stain we may have on our country, but we're trying to make things
Mhm.
better. But I like the fact that they didn't like divulge or like just dive into like the
They
whole
didn't dwell on it. It was like
yeah,
a there's a thing. You know,
right.
and here's the thing. If you lived at that time, this is what you would go through, but it didn't dwell on it, "Well, this is how it is in the
Yeah,
white man's land." Like, it wasn't talking like that. They're just like, it's regular.
yeah,
Because people would get along. Back in the day, people get along, and you do your thing. You stay on your side of town, I stay on my side of town. Everybody's good. That's how it was been back in the day. And you know what? I I I like them just telling the story rather than having to beat you over the head with the story about, "Well, this is what it's like and whatever." I don't want to see that. I'm tired of it.
yeah,
I'm really tired of it. You know why? Because the people who tell the story are terrible at telling stories. Where if you have somebody who's good at telling a story and tell a story about this topic, they can do it with grace and make it interesting and not offensive to everybody. Because anybody can go watch this movie and be cool with it.
yeah,
Like, it's not only black people can watch it or
yeah.
only whatever, whatever.
No,
Like, this is a everybody can watch this
this
movie and
is
get something out of
this is a DEI movie.
it.
It really is. You know what I'm saying? It really is.
I mean, everything's in there. They got everything in there.
I love this joint,
But yeah,
man. We are
yeah,
talking
man.
about Sinners. This is available to purchase on any of your streaming services. Keo, what are you going to rate the
Mhm.
Sinners or Sinners?
Sinners, I give it a 9. I really liked it, man. I was shocked how much I enjoyed the movie, and I was shocked how much I liked the ending of the movie. And I know people were like, "Please make another one." Please, like, no, he said,
No,
like, "We're not doing that. We're
no,
not doing this. This is a
no.
one time,"
Mm-mm,
as you should.
mm,
You he's trying to do his Christopher Nolan thing where he's taking topics and just doing interesting things and just moving on to the next thing. I'm okay with that.
yeah,
Ryan Coogler, whatever your name is, just do that. Keep doing that,
no.
bro. It was a good job. You knocked it out the park, made a bunch of money. Everybody's happy. Move on to the next project.
Yeah,
I like this. I rock this man. It's a good movie.
yeah. I am also going to give it a 9, and I totally agree with you. We do not need
Mhm.
a sequel for this movie. If you gave us a sequel, you would screw up the experience we had watching
Ruin
Sinners.
everything
And what
for
are you
it.
going to call this?
Yeah.
Sinners 2? I mean, they're already dead.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, like the preacher boy is going to be dead by the time you release this joint.
Yeah.
I wanted to, I wanted to give it like a 10, but it was between a 10 and a 9, but I'm going to give it a 9.
Mhm.
I told you, man, I'm
Mhm.
watching this film and I thought it was a film produced and created and directed by Spike Lee.
It's got the vibe for
It's got
sure.
the vibe. This is a
Mhm.
great film. No walking and talking, no screaming kids.
It was
Story
great,
arc
man.
is awesome. Character building, relationships, the whole
Mhm.
nine, diversity. I love diverse movies. Even if they're
Mhm.
killing each other, I still like diversity. You know what I'm saying? It's just like it's only entertainment. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And
yeah.
dude, Michael B. Jordan is it. He is it.
He's a star. I think you qualify
He's
as
a
a star.
star. He is a star. This is like the next generation of black excellence when it comes to Hollywood. This guy
Mhm,
is there, you know.
mhm,
So again, we are talking about Sinners. This is now available to purchase on any of your streaming services. We both purchased it on Apple TV. It's available on
mhm.
Amazon as well. Go check it out. Well, there you have it. Thanks for checking out another episode of the Behind the Groove podcast. I am Basil Barrington.
I am DJ Keo.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And until next time, peace.
All right.